Hello. Just gonna wait a couple minutes here and see if people trickle in a bit before I get going. This is my third part of playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think this is the first time I'm actually starting on time. That's why people aren't here yet. So between the last two streams, we made it through the introduction, and we actually got to start wandering around and catching Pokemon. I haven't really done anything significant to the story yet, but we will get on that today. Be a little bit before we start seeing too much progress too quickly. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I find, starts out a little bit slow, but picks up pretty quick. Now that we're done with the tutorial, that is. No time like the present. In the first stream, I was reading all of the dialogue, but it was a little hard to see through the fursuit head. So the second time, I didn't read any of the dialogue. This time I'm planning on reading it again, but I'm gonna forego the fursuit head, but this isn't a face reveal. I'm just gonna turn the camera off. So you're not gonna see me. Instead, we've got a blank square there. So I apologize for that. I will try to work on figuring out a better setup. But in the meantime, it makes more sense for me to be able to see the game, to be able to give a better viewer experience. So let's get started. Once it finishes loading, that is. Alright, we were on our way over here to get some training, if I recall. I forgot I was going to read already. Listen, I've had an epiphany. And this is... You see, I've got a partner of my own. We may not get along perfectly, but we've got to work together to help complete the Pokédex. Your partner? Yes. Here, this is my partner, Pikachu. Bigga! When we were attacked by those Shinx, I got too scared to even think straight, and I couldn't handle battling as a team. Ever since then, my partners refuse to listen to anything I tell him. And if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure how to give him, or how to order him, how to guide him in battle. Bigger? But then I saw how you and your Pokemon work together. I realized we need uh, more too. Oh. Hello there. Let's see. So please, have a battle with me. I need to learn how to fight effectively. The Survey Corps. Akira challenged you to a battle. I think Akira was how it's pronounced. She sent out Pikachu. But will she stand a chance against my Cyndaquil? I am doing fine. Thank you for asking. Just getting started on my Hisuian journey. I guess Pikachu was better than Cyndaquil there. Unfortunately, Pikachu's by itself, and I've got a full team. That is good to hear. You and your Pokemon seem to be completely in step with one another. Except for my starter, apparently. Whew. Thank you for battling us. I could be wrong, but for a moment, I felt like Pikachu and I finally understood one another. Let's keep working at it. Okay, Pikachu? Bigger. Guess I was wrong then. But I'll strive to work more as a team with my partner the way that you do. Assuming Pikachu and I can bridge some gaps. Oh, by the way, the professor said that Pokemon have things called types, which apparently make a big difference in how battles go. It's hard to imagine someone not knowing types, but this is the beginning of the journey. Pikachu seems to be an electric type, for example. Why, thank you. I'm gonna skip over that because not only do I know the types, once you battle a Pokemon, it'll tell you whether or not it's a super effective move or not very effective. It's pretty handy for just quickly going through things. Oh, I've definitely played through this game before, so... But I wouldn't spoil it for any of the partners. Or, not partners, any of the other viewers. This is my third time through this game. But I never quite finished getting all the Pokemon in the Pokédex so I can move them over to Pokemon Home, which is the ultimate goal of this playthrough. So this person... Well, this file is new. This person specializes in battles, so she can teach you how to master moves, and also counts as a move tutor. Strong styles have a higher accuracy and a higher attack rate, but are slower, or a fast move, or an agile style move. Lets you go faster, but it's a little bit weaker. Oftentimes it can be beneficial to choose the agile style move and then, or it's beneficial to use the agile style move when it'll give you a second turn in a row. You can get some pretty good hits combining that with a strong attack afterwards. Both of them use extra power points. It's interesting that they don't say that it increases the accuracy when you're using the strong style, but some of the attacks, at least, it definitely does. Okay. A lot of this is not particularly relevant for the story. But they like to teach you all the new things when you're starting a game. Probably check. Okay, so there is a mission that I haven't picked up yet. This one's kind of a pain to find the right Pokemon for this. I don't want to just explain what everything is before I have the dialogue. Can Pokemon of the same species come in different sizes? Yes. I know the professor said they do, but I have a hard time believing it unless I see a different sized one lined side by side. If there really are bigger Buizel than mine, I'd love to see them alongside the one I have, for comparison's sake. And you're a natural when it comes to catching Pokemon, right? I bet you'll see where I'm going with this. If you can catch a bigger Buizel than mine, would you let me have it? I'll make it worth your while. So he doesn't just want one that's bigger than him. He wants one that's of a specific size or higher. Well, I'm doing a playthrough. That way I can possibly let other people see the dialogue, or well, hear the dialogue. Oh. It says I have 2 of one. Do I actually have one that's big enough? Let's see. 111. 2 foot. I don't think these are big enough. Okay, 2'8". Did I surprise you? I bet I did. I was trying to, anyway. It's a secret technique to catching Pokemon, you see. Surprising them. Will say it is a pretty useful technique. Get a bonus when you strike them in the back. It makes it easier for you to catch them, and also usually makes it so that they're not as quick to run away, at least from my experience. Wants a mushroom. Oh, thank you very much for joining us. And I appreciate your username. It probably doesn't help that I'm fighting a lot of things that Cyndaquil is weak to. Well, not that he's weak to them, but he's weak to rollout. Talk to this person too. So she wants to hear a Kricketot. Alright. We're not too far off from being able to get one of those. Having my Pokemon gather ingredients does give them a little bit of happiness. Which can be helpful for, well, lots of things. Them in the back. This I get basically 2 turns in a row. At least. Some of them will naturally just wait an extra turn and they'll be surveying their environment. But with how skittish they are, it can be good to get some extra hits in. Decided not to turn around, so we're gonna just attack it anyway. In some aspects, these Pokemon games are a little bit harder at the start of the game in terms of the wild Pokemon. Though Legends Arceus still has... you have to be careful about being in the wild and whatnot. It's very easy to have Pokemon sneak up on you, and you don't really want to lose your, well, since I don't expect or don't want it to happen during this playthrough, I'll explain. If you have one of the Pokemon that's aggressive, they will attack your character, not just your Pokemon. And in doing so, if you get hit too much, you will pass out, and you will lose some of your items. Someone else will be able to find them and return them to you, and they can get some extra points that can be used to purchase some useful items, especially evolutionary items. The easiest way to get them after you've gotten decently far in the game. Right now I'm just aiming to level my Cyndaquil up a little bit before moving on to the next area. I would like Cyndaquil to be my main attacker, since it's the only one on my team that I'm planning on keeping through this playthrough. And I got rollout. It'll be helpful for some battles. Rollout's not quite the same in this game as it is in previous games. This is your Pokemon's locked to be attacked, but unlike previous games, you can choose whatever you want. However, using the rollout attack multiple times, if I'm not mistaken, allows it to be more powerful. Gives you a boost to the attack stat for, or when using it. Specifically when using rollout a second time, I should say. So that didn't quite do half damage on machines. Second attack still took it out. go ahead and use a potion. I'm gonna go ahead and come on. There we go. Now we can see the turn order. Unfortunately, does have a chance of missing. So that's always fun to work around. Avoid the attack and you look around. That makes sense. Maybe it was looking for an escape route, but we don't know. Alright, I don't want to mess with the alpha there. You haven't even been introduced to alpha Pokemon yet. That's in the next section. It is nice to have some of these early Pokemon that are weak to multiple attacks that I have. I'm gonna try this Beautifly, see if I've got what it takes to win. Ooh, level 22. See how it, well, guess we don't get to see that. And let's just run away. Gotta be careful because of the Alpha Luxio. Grab some plants on my way over. As I said, this part of the game is still a little bit slow. Part of it is dive rolling is a little bit faster, but not significantly different from walking. Not compared to later modes of transportation. have any in my party, so I'm going to swap out some Pokemon so I can put a couple Wurmple in my party. Hello. Yeah, gonna grab this one instead of there. Doing this so that I can evolve them up and get some Pokédex entries. I am hoping to evolve these into different ones, but we'll see. Wurmple either evolves into Silcoon or Cascoon, but it's pretty random which one you get. The value is determined, varies a little bit game by game, but I believe in this one when the Pokemon is spawned. So you don't really have a good way of knowing what it's going to turn into. I think I might just have to throw Pokeballs at this guy. Maybe I shouldn't even have entered the battle, but early game Pokemon aren't too hard to take out. Or to catch, I should say. Not that they're hard to take out either. Especially since I have rollout. Make a little bit of story progress. Yep. Thank you. I want to say Maya, but I think it's I probably should have looked up how these names are pronounced before doing this recording. So I have to fight her and her Munchlax. She says she sees like a sibling. It was essentially the same as some child sending their younger sibling out to fight you. It's a little questionable. But times were different back then. We do not condone attacking people. Roll out. I can do roll out. Apparently it can't hit me though. I don't even have smoke screen yet. To be fair, not too surprising. amazing how many things in this early part of the game have rollout. Now we have to deal with a fearsome foe. And my phone goes off, of course. Kind of surprised that none of them are more surprised at this thing existing and functioning. Convenient that it doesn't need charging, though. It would be a pain to try to find like the right kind of charging cable in this era, I'm sure. Do I know about the almighty Sinnoh? Of course. So this is where we find out that, well, I guess they did cover a little bit in the previous stream, but the Diamond Clan believes that Sinnoh is the Pokemon that controls time. Sinnoh is what they're calling the deity of this region, which they're, I mean, to be fair, they're only a little bit mistaken. So here they establish that the alpha Pokemon are the descendants of Pokemon that were directly blessed by Sinnoh. It's interesting what they consider to be blessed, but oh, they healed up my Cyndaquil, so that'll save me some time. The Kricketot. Let's see if this kills it in one hit. It does. Or rather, it knocks it out. Very curious as to why Zubat can't see you when it's turned away, since they don't have eyes. But I'm not going to question it. It's game mechanics. And what do you have to say? Some berries. have those already? I do. I have lots of those. It's really helpful to gather things as you go and also get as many of these side quests as you can early on. That way you might just complete them as you go. This guy's technically also part of the tutorial, as he is teaching you that you can use berries to lure Pokemon over. It can be pretty helpful when trying to catch something that's not cooperating. Now that we're starting to increase in level, some of these battles are getting a little bit easier, but I say that before I get to the Geodude. Just gonna look. Cool. One more Pokemon down. Background there, you can see there's a mineral deposit or thing that is moving. That is an indication that there's a Pokemon in it. At this stage of the game, it's gonna be a Geodude. Later on in the game, it's gonna mostly be Graveler. But occasionally different Pokemon can pop out. Ooh. Didn't take me out in one. Huh? Since it's slow on health, I might as well catch this. Didn't want to stay calm. But that's okay. Sometimes you have to offer more than once. There we go. And now we can evolve these guys. I missed when they reached the level they could evolve at. I don't have them all memorized, but I believe they evolve at level 7. Alright, 50-50 shot here. Yeah. Let's go for the deposit real quick. I'm gonna head back and heal and swap out one of those Silcoon for another Wormhole. And it's daytime, so now there's birds. We'll go ahead and take a detour over here. Aim's not very good right now, but that's okay. Pokeballs are pretty cheap and easy to make. Yeah, those Shinx are very scary Pokemon. Because they have the Intimidate ability, I'm sure. I am just half expecting to run into like a shiny Bidoof as I'm walking by. Would be pretty great. I do have a team that I would like to use for this game, but if we find a shiny along the way that isn't Ponyta, for reasons, I would totally be down for including it in our party makeup, at least temporarily. Might take me a bit to get the image ready for it. Oh, I almost forgot to swap out for a Wurmple. If you're wondering why I'm not swapping both out, it's because our Silcoon is pretty close to evolving by itself. Or, yeah. It's only got another level, if I am not mistaken. Which, I mean, I've been wrong before. I'll own that. Now back to our detour. Thank you. I would love a shiny. This is a pretty fun game to shiny hunt in, but it's more practical to aim for that after you get the shiny charm, which is not going to happen for a little while. Yeah, I started the game from the beginning. We are still pretty early. catching a few Weasel before I head up the mountain to get introduced to Alpha Pokemon. And here we have our first shaking tree of the game. From this angle, it almost looked like it was shiny, but it's not quite blue enough. Yeah, let's just try a Pokeball. This is definitely one of my favorite games. Not even just one of my favorite Pokemon games, one of my favorite games of all time. There might be a little bit of bias in there. Let's see if I can hit this thing without kicking it out. Oh, yeah, easily. Hopefully I don't get a crit. Okay, that's a little bit easier to catch. And there we go. Happy Easter. Second shaken tree. Let's just try a regular quick attack. So Burmie's an interesting Pokemon since its location affects what kind of outer coating it decides to cloak itself in. Because they're based off of bagworms that just basically build a protective shell from whatever they find around them. The male Burmie evolved into a moth, but the female Burmie evolved into another bagworm, which mimics their real-life counterparts, where the female does not actually reach what would be considered maturity for its species. So in Pokemon, when you evolve the female up, it actually turns into a different form based off of what its lower form looks like. We've only seen the plant cloak, but there are two other options. One is a sandy cloak, which will turn it into a ground type Pokemon, and one is a trash cloak, which will turn it into a steel type Pokemon. Probably too high, but you can always engage battle and then run away. 31, yeah, let's... Leave. I love that in this game, if you want to avoid a battle, you can just literally run. You didn't see me. No, there's a berry over there. Oh look, a berry's over there now. Yeah. Don't know how this weasel has not caught on yet, but I'm not going to argue. There we go. Let's see. Time to find out what my other wormhole becomes. Fingers crossed we see purple. Well, first we'll see the eyes. Oh, there we go. Cascoon. And I might as well evolve our other Silcoon up while we are at it. And now we have our first fully evolved Pokemon. Under other circumstances, I would box this thing immediately and start working on something else. Oh, my satchel's full. Okay. Let's see what I can do about that. There. Now my satchel's not full. Easy. Avoid the angry floating rock people. They're pretty slow. They're not too hard to get away from. I'm sure that's what the bird Pokemon think about me. How did it even get past all those Geodude? Okay. And there it is, the iconic cry of a Cricketune. I feel like its cry has become a little bit of a meme. It's one of the recognizable ones. Oh, well, thank you. some of these alpha Pokemon are big enough that they're comparable to what we think the Pokemon sizes would be. A lot of Pokemon are really small. This would be really easy if the programming would let me just go behind this thing and throw a ball at it, but gotta engage it in battle. Alright, Cyndaquil, let's do this. Yes, thank you. I am already aware of this. Pretty strong hits. I don't know why I haven't had the move information out yet, but might as well. He's a lower level than me, but unfortunately, Cyndaquil could not take it out on its own. Luckily, I have Bidoof. Wasn't too hard of a fight overall, but it is unfortunate that I lost Cyndaquil. And here we have our introduction to Weirdeer. Specifically the Great Weirdeer. If that's what kindness looks like from a Weirdeer, I would not want to be on one's angry side. It is interesting that they mention Alola for a couple reasons. The first off is we're basically told that ride Pokemon in Alola existed all the way back in time this far, and that the Alola region itself was already established. And now they've just decided that it is agreeable that they set up camp in this sacred location. As long as, we're here to do good things and not bad things. But that's okay, we're here to do good things. I think she's got something backwards there. She was saying that to coexist with Pokemon, And to thrive with them, we need to stop fearing them. And to do that, we need to finish the Pokédex. But really, it's the other way around. You can't finish the Pokédex until you stop fearing Pokemon. Like, a bunch of them require happiness to evolve. You're not going to do that when you're afraid of them. And here's the forced exiting of the location. Got a decent amount of money. Also completed a fair bit. That's a little surprising, but definitely not a bad thing. Potato mochi. Can't say I've had it. The grave news. Yes. Like, actually pretty dark for a game that, at least in part, is for a children audience and older. I won't say Pokemon's exclusively for kids, but they also, in a sense, are kids' games at times. Especially when it comes to hand-holding. Game Freak needs to start making some Pokemon games where you can skip the introductions. Though Scarlet and Violet did let you have a lot of optional stuff for the tutorial. You didn't have to do it all, but it was beneficial to do. You didn't have to do it all at once. This guy that's not very good at catching Pokemon has a lot to say about how sure he is that Pokemon can be lived with, work together, and, you know, de-frenzied. I don't know if there's a appropriate verb for that. I mean, calmed, but frenzied is a very specific state. Nice little detail here is you have your shoes off and then suddenly on and then back off again. Let's store some things that I don't need. Probably don't need those. That should be good. Alright, off to the headquarters. Or... oh, okay. We hadn't been introduced to these two yet. So these two have a conflict where one believes that Sinnoh is the deity of time and the other believes it is the deity of space. And their speech is littered with little references to this. What this fails to account for is the concept of a potential deity that can rule over both time and space. But that comes through with the story. Sort of. I'm gonna say both the Diamond and Pearl clans, even as a whole, when you look at every member, they're not really big enough to be going to war with each other. Probably because of previously going to war with each other. Oh, you. Do you have anything? No. Okay. But the professor here keeps some side quests, so accept all of these. We'll head on up. After we grab this quest as well. Pickling still. I'll need to get another Geodude for her. Because that's what Geodude are for. Pickling. So here we have the difficulty of this guy's had to deal with a frenzied Pokemon that is precious to the other clan, so they cannot directly attack it themselves. But similarly, the Pearl clan cannot take care of it itself because it's also precious to them. This is where we come in, because we are a third unbiased party. So we fall from the sky, and everyone's told of this. People don't really question it because Pokemon have been doing the same thing. So the suggestion here is take someone who we don't know anything about and have him try to help the creature that is frenzied. And taking out people on occasion. This is pretty well said, using Pokeballs so that we can live alongside Pokemon. Though, let's be honest, there is a lot of undertones of people seeing themselves probably above Pokemon. They're pets or animals or things to do people's biddings. Though the world and stories themselves heavily lean on the concept of working together with a Pokemon partner as a team is the ideal. But it doesn't really account for the fact that you can kind of interchange the Pokemon and get the same result. One might be able to argue that that means that there's potential in all Pokemon, which isn't a bad message. Many people have tried beating the game with just using Magikarp, and some have succeeded. So, take that as you may. So he throws this on me and then warns me not to mess it up, essentially. Which is fair. Except for the whole throwing it on me. So he's going to give me the briefing. Cleavor is frenzied, it's near invincible, Pokeballs don't work. Appears that you can't really calm one easily once they're riled up. The mission is extremely dangerous. Yeah, I can handle it. Of course. Easy. So this Pokemon is noble, so we cannot, kill it, catch it, or severely injure it. They don't say that, but it's implied. Okay. They're coming to me to ask me to do the thing I've been tasked with. Thank you. You've been very helpful. Now he wants to explain. They're kind of saying that even though this Pokemon's not special to them, it's still dangerous and needs to be taken care of. Help yet? No? Okay. Oh. Oh, now you're willing to help. See, this is what I had to work with. Yeah, sure. 100, that's pretty cheap. So this guy, for an increasingly large amount of money, will keep letting you increase the size of your satchel by 1 space. I'm not exactly sure how he eventually, like, doubles how much space you had. Guess he must be part of the Pearl clan. Or I'm just really, really bad at things right off the bat. Hard to say. But it's definitely worth early on spending the money to get a little bit more room in the bag. Honestly, this is probably the biggest money sink in the game because the prices get pretty ridiculous. Seeing as you can craft your own Pokeballs and potions, there's not that much else that you need money for. It is better spent making more room so that you can gather more stuff. If you can gather more stuff, you can sell that stuff and make more money to get more space. This should be the last one I can afford. And then he basically, when you say that you don't want him to, he will tell you, oh, well, that's too bad. It could save your life if you spend more money. We don't have any more money to spend. Let's see. So we've got a few more missions that we can pick up. Like this one. So he teaches me a recipe to make a doll. Really the only purpose of the dolls is to sell them. Let's see. Okay. Still, it's not too bad. Make a little bit of money here and there. person's talking about Cherim, which is actually pretty hard to get. Ironically, it's, at least from my experience, much easier to get than its lower form, though. I'm hoping that we can get them without too much trouble. We're not too far off of when we can start encountering them, but it's a little bit luck-based. Here's Volo. And he's just giving me some potions, I guess. Thank you. I don't know if these will be useful for a while. Alright, let's head to our new location. It's telling me to head all the way over there, but there are a lot of Pokemon I can catch in the meantime, and I would like to head over here. Which does end up being the easiest way to get to where they're wanting me to go, but I will detour. Instead of fighting them when they're angry, you can throw things at them. And sometimes it'll let you catch. That was a close one. One of the reasons I am hitting them is in case there's a shiny in one. You never know until you try. Let's see. Here, we have Stantler. They're a little bit aggressive. But let's see if I can make it up here. There we go. I don't want to be spotted, but Alpha Stantler. I'm gonna go ahead and save the game here, because I think this would be a nice Pokemon to catch. Help me get through some of the earlier parts of the game. Berry. It's right there. Well, it saw me. Oof, level 42. I think this might be a fool's errand. I will circle back and get this guy later. Back to our main quest. There's another alpha Pokemon. I'm gonna ignore it. There are a handful of other finds here. Don't need another one of those. Although, probably wouldn't hurt. Do a few battles. Okay. Staraptor in the air there. Before I even attempt anything with Cleavor, I do want to evolve my Cyndaquil up. But even then, I don't think that Lava will be enough to take it out on its own. So we're gonna have to probably get a few Pokemon leveled up. Paris and hopefully be able to catch one. I imagine this will catch. There we go. Paris is a pretty useful Pokemon. If I can take this guy out before he runs away. There's a lot of Pokemon that run at the first opportunity. We'll give this guy a wide berth. See if there's a place over here where I can work my way up. Doesn't look like it'll be too hard to do here. This is where I just need to, if I get lucky, and encounter a shaking tree. pretty rare find, but there's not really a better place to find it. You've got a couple Pokemon to evolve. Some of these guys don't even need to see any combat. You can just evolve them up nice and easy. So, Staravia and we're going to get a wonderful Dustox. We will want to get another set later on. Male Combi. Not particularly of interest. When it comes to Combi, it is much better to go after a female one, because the male ones don't evolve, sadly. Doesn't hurt to catch a few. Yeah, I was hoping for a shaking tree, but I don't see any. Time to make my way back. Might as well pick things up as I go. I know this is all very exciting. In case you're wondering how I can tell that all the Combi I've encountered are male so far, the female Combi have a red mark in between the three sections of them. So it's pretty easy to spot. Sometimes you run into Pokemon that are sleeping, and they're very easy to catch. swap out some Pokemon. It is pretty fun to see how far you can go in these games just by traversing on foot. A lot of it ends up being stuff that you're expected to do a little bit later, but you still have a pretty decent range. Does not want to be caught. That's fine. Zubat's really fixated on me. Can I evolve you yet? No, but I can evolve you. Should be able to evolve Cyndaquil in a couple levels. Here we have Shinx. Or we've evolved Shinx into Luxio. Here we can fight some Pokemon that are decent levels, so they'll give good experience. Even if I take them out pretty easily. There's a shaken tree. There's a couple shaken trees. Luckily for me, these guys are pretty easy to take out. Sadly, no male, or no female Combies yet. Some Scyther. They can be tricky to get at this stage. Not really a lot of hiding spots. And they get angered pretty easily. Also in that fight, I got Cyndaquil high enough up. Actually, I guess that was the last level. Can't fight right now. Or can't evolve right now. How about now? There we go. Sometimes it's just waiting for the right moment. Doesn't like to let you evolve when it's doing some other things. Okay. So let's see if I can do this right. There we go. Now we have Quilava. This way. Just a little section I want to do. Then we'll probably have to call it since I've been going at this video for nearly 2 hours. It's either going to take it out in one hit, or see if this will catch. There we go. Ultimately, we're going to need enough of each Pokemon that we have one of each evolution. At least, that's the goal. Good attacks. I'm just gonna run. Cave is pretty good if you need some of these iron chunks. Or if you need a fighting type Pokemon. Not particularly common. Sometimes it can be hard to get behind these Pokemon that are curious. Fine, if you don't want to join me, don't join me. Don't need to be all mad about it. A little bit of lag there. I don't remember what the level is, but at a certain level you can break through this. There we go. Cool. And that opens up this area. be an Alpha Graveler here, which I'm gonna try to avoid. Oh, hi. Let's do another one. Well, not ideal, but I am trying to catch this guy. You never know, that might be the one that is 2'8" or taller. Good. I ran out of things that you can hit them with. I'm just... I don't think I can reach that. You can get Magikarp here, but it's easier a little later. Try to catch a Pokemon that's a little bit difficult, but should be no harm in trying. Famous last words. Alpha Heracross. Won't even let me try. Alright. Well, probably a little stronger than I can handle. I don't know if I caught a Pokemon using this method before, but you can either enter your inventory or switch over to the Pokeball items with the X button and use your Pokeball from there. Oh. There's a female Combi. Just gotta hope it doesn't run away before I get a chance to catch it. Ideally, you want to catch it without without being spotted. But sometimes things can't be helped. Gonna make my way to a safe spot. And I will save the game and we will call it there. While it is a little unfortunate that I wasn't really able to get a good setup for my face cam, this does end up working for gameplay better. So maybe I'll get a different setup, but this is likely how I will do videos for a while. We made a little bit of story progress. We evolved our starter Pokemon. And I've explored a bunch of this area. Alright, that is it for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I don't remember which button goes to the menu to save. So, this has been Foxy Finds, and I will be back next week. Take care.